What's up, Eagle family? Thanks for tapping back in. I got another raw banger for y'all today. But before we start, I gotta roll me a blunt because we about to get into the shit. Um, so for all my APAs out there, it's getting hard. It's getting hard. But then, there's some perks that come with it. Um, as time goes along, it feels like they're starting to get they're starting to move away from making apprehensions. Every day the rules are changing, and I feel like it's for the benefit of the shoplifters. They could say it's for the safety of the people and the employees all they want, but if it's all about liability. It's all about these lawsuits. You feel me? And it's all about protecting the reputation, the brand, yada yada yada. So they coming out with new rules. You can't touch them. You can't make apprehensions unless you got this, unless you got that. You can't make no more solo apps. You know what I mean? Like they just changing the game. And I feel like because they're changing the game to where they don't want APAs to make apprehensions, we should shift that focus to the workplace. A lot of people wanted to get more information on, getting internals because I feel like with the rules that's changing now, that's what it's leading to. A lot of these managers are now saying, okay, we want more internals because it makes the managers look good when they get internals. Understand the game. And if you got you a shitty ass manager, that manager is going to take all the credibility for that apprehension. And you done put in all the work. You done did all the lead work. You done watched them. You done gave them timestamps. You feel me? You done told them this, that. You know what I mean? Made his job or her job easier, but they take all the credibility. You feel me? And I feel like it's cool to a certain extent, but at the end of the day, when it's time for APAs to move up, that's when it hurts us the most. Because now it's like, okay, it's like you got to prove yourself all over again because it's like you don't have no credibility when it comes to internals, but in fact, you do. It's just your AP coach then took all the credit for it. Your ETL took all the credit for it. You feel me? Um your senior investigator took all the credit for it. You know what I mean? So it's like, all right, you gotta pick and choose how you going, get these internals. But if you got you a cool manager, they're gonna take credibility to some extent. But then when it's time for you to get promoted, they're gonna make sure that you get promoted. You know what I mean? So if you take a credibility like that, but then when it's time for an APA to be promoted and you make sure that they are promoted, then I'm all for it. You know what I mean? That's cool. I'm cool with that. But so like the problem with the workplace is that it is the leadership. The leadership is what's wrong with the workplace. And if corporate knew that, um, I believe a lot of these managers wouldn't be where they are right now. Because what happens is when you complain to leadership, when you complain to leadership, like HR, for example, about a manager, you think HR manager is really taking those steps to hold that manager accountable? No. HR is going to have a conversation with that manager and they're going to let them know that you just filed a complaint against them. Now that manager knows that you may be out to get them or you snitching, right? And so here comes the retaliation. The retaliation starts when the manager finds out, okay, bet he or she wants to snitch on me, throw me under the bus. Watch this. I'm about to cut hours. They start cutting your hours. They got you doing dirty jobs. You a cashier. You a sales floor associate. You work in the back room, picking and binning. Guess what they got you doing now? Cleaning the bathrooms. They got you pushing carts. You know what I mean? They got you doing all the dirty jobs. They're trying to push you up out of there because you trying to stand up for yourself in the workplace. So and I've seen it. I've seen it. I'm not gonna sit here and lie. I've been in a lot of situations where I could not say nothing. I just had to sit back and watch management treat others like they wasn't nothing. And I felt bad that I couldn't step up and say nothing. You know what I mean? Like I felt like that at the time. That's what I felt like. You know what I mean? I felt like I couldn't do nothing because I was just a hourly employee. This was early on in my AP career. You know what I mean? I didn't know what type of power I had. I didn't know that I could step in and do or say anything to, prevent all this from going down or, you know, help the situation have a better outcome than it did. But now, knowing what I know now is like there's a lot that I could have done early on, even as a grasshopper. You feel me? At the very minimum, I could have enforced policy and these laws. Man, early on in my career, if I'd have known all this, it would have been a whole different type of ball game. But because they are getting away from making apprehensions, we got to shift that focus to the workplace. The workplace has to be the top priority right now because customers are going to see this when they come in and they're going to feed off the energy of the store. If it's a positive environment, good energy, good vibes, they're going to feed off of that. If it's a hostile, toxic environment, people cussing at each other, it's ghetto, it's ratchet, they're going to feed off of that. You know what I mean? They're going to respect what they see and how they see it. So, us as APAs, when the store is dead and we ain't got nothing to catch, we ain't got nothing to watch, we is focused on the workplace. We is focused on safety. We looking out for safety hazards, things that could become as safety hazards, problems that are small problems that could possibly escalate into bigger problems if we don't nip it in the butt right now. You feel me? Because you can't have people bringing their beefs into the workplace. We didn't have situations where people done brought their beef to the workplace and when that female got off of work, they beat the bricks off of her. And she was an overnight associate. So when she got off at 7 that morning, they was waiting for her when she got to that bus stop and they beat the bricks off of her. I'm talking about to where she had to have her jaws wired shut. Her jaw, not her jaws, her jaw wired shut. It was that bad. It was that bad. And when I seen the video, man, they rolled up on her like they've been waiting. They was just waiting for her to get to that bus stop. So we got to make sure that when people come into the store, associates come into the store, that it's all business, it's all good vibes. Leave your problems at home. They say that for a reason. Leave your problems at home. And when you go home, leave your work problems at work. There's a reason why they say that. And that's real talk. Um, so I'm telling y'all, y'all gonna get a lot of blowback from management when you start holding managers accountable, and a lot of managers are not gonna like it. They feel like because you're an hourly employee that you don't have the authority to say nothing to them. But they got the game twisted because you do. If they in there breaking policy, they breaking their own policy. they will be held accountable. If they break in any type of federal laws that could be become lawsuits in the future, there's a problem. I don't care about none of their titles. If you are breaking the policies that you're trying to enforce on the rest of the associates, we have a problem. How you take an extra 15, 30-minute break, but then you write somebody else up for doing the same thing. You know what I mean? These are the type of little things that I'm talking about in the workplace that we must um, shine light on. We must shine light on because it's little things like this that add up to why people explode in the workplace. Because over time, it's like there's a consistent pattern, and then there's only so much that people will take before they blow up. And then when they blow up, it's too late. See, we are there to prevent. Prevention is the key. We're not there to, react after something happens. We are there to prevent things from happening, things from escalating into bigger issues. You know what I mean? This is why they call us loss prevention. You have to have the eye to see what's going to happen before it even happens. That's why you have to see the whole floor, the whole entire floor. As an AP, you can't just see one subject and just have tunnel vision. You can't have tunnel vision. So in this next era, we've got to dig into the workplace a little bit more harder. We're gonna have to press. Not a lot of people gonna like it, but like I've said before, we're not there for people to like us. We didn't come to make friends. We are here to enforce the policy, and anybody can get the smoke. Anybody, including management. So first thing first, for all the grasshoppers, all the newbies, you need to know the policy by the end of your 90-day probation period or whenever it is that they plan on signing you off. You should know the policy front to back if you're going to be effective in this game. Know the policy, understand laws, and get well acquainted with the federal laws, because if any of these managers or if any of the companies are being sued, I promise you it's because they crossed that federal line in some type of way. Whether it has to be discrimination, retaliation, harassment, you know what I'm saying? They face so many internal lawsuits that it ain't even funny. Class action lawsuits. You feel me? That the public will never hear about. But I promise you, they don't want them type of problems. So the better you understand these policies and these laws, the effective you will be. The more effective you will be. Um, Now, for all the vets, the ones that's been in the game for a while and know what they're doing, know how to decipher, read between the lines, you've got to observe who's breaking policy and these laws. And when you identify who's breaking these policies, at the very minimum policies, let's just start with policy. Once you identify who's breaking the policy, then you document and then you pay attention. This is where the observation comes in. Um, you're looking for the pattern of the same behavior. Because once you have the same pattern, it's easy to prove. It's a lot easier to prove. Now, this is how to handle certain type of situations, right? So in AP, we have authority. And so you decide how you going to handle your own cases, your own investigations, situations that you going to come up on or be called to. And so with small issues, you can handle these small issues and you can be civilized, which means you could just pull the associate or manager aside, pull them into the office, and have an open book, open door conversation. Somebody might have been giving the cashier a lot of counterfeits throughout the month and they can't tell that it's a counterfeit. You know what I'm saying? These are small problems. Or, you got two associates who's always arguing on the sales floor or got some type of beef, things like that. Now, bigger issues that require a lot more attention, um, with more authority, will be things that violate federal laws. You know what I mean? People that are in a protected class, people with disabilities, right? People that have the same skin color as I do, brown people. You know what I mean? These type of laws, civil rights laws, are the type of laws that you want to know and be aware of. Because I can promise you a lot of these federal laws are being crossed in the workplace. I can promise you that on a day-to-day basis. Um, on a day-to-day basis. Um, these type of issues are going to call for people who are in them higher roles above, our pay grade, the regionals, the market, and divisional managers. That's when they got to step in. You feel me? Because these type of violations can lead to lawsuits, and they often do. They often do, and a lot of these cases, 95% of these cases, you probably won't ever hear about. You will probably never hear about because a lot of these cases they get paid out, which we call hush money. You feel me? A lot of these companies they pay these people out. It don't never make the news. It's not on social media. And what comes with this hush money is that they can't talk about the case whatsoever ever again. It's done. It's a done deal. It's over with. So when they pay these people, they're not allowed to talk about the case. You know what I mean? They're not allowed to, throw their name in the dirt, shit like that. They just bygones be bygones. And then you got the other five who don't get paid, like myself, and we go public with it. You feel me? We sharing our story. We pushing this shit because people need to know. People need to know, and people should know. They plan people off of what they don't know. If you don't know, the policy, they're gonna play you off of that. You don't know the law, they're gonna play you off of that. They're not gonna play with the people that are knowledgeable, that do know they shit. They're not playing with them people. They playing with the ones that ain't got no type of knowledge, ain't got no type of education. They playing with them people all day, every day. They don't give a damn about them. But for the ones that know and know how to use it and know how to use the tools and know how to use the system, yeah, they're not playing with us. I promise you. So, it's time. It's time to clean house. It's time to clean house. We can catch everybody we want externally. ORC groups, the regulars that come in and mess up from time to time, but when you really want to be effective, you really want to have an impact, you got to start internally. You got to start internally. Clean house internally. Sometimes the workplace don't need a lot. Sometimes it just need a little tweaking. You know what I mean? Sometimes you got to get a couple bodies out of there so it can, be a peaceful and calm environment. But this is the time where we start working on the workplace. Anybody that's toxic, anybody that's creating a hostile, toxic work environment, Hey, we're gonna pull them to the side. We're gonna coach them up. If that don't work, we getting them out of there. Like I tell you, your community, your shoppers, they coming in and they gonna feed off of that same energy that y'all putting off. And last but not least, most of the stores that I've been in, the leadership is horrible, terrible. And that's where you got to start, the leadership. If these corporations really knew what went on behind the scenes at these stores, it'd be a whole different ball game. But because HR and management be like this and they watching each other's back, these corporations don't know. These corporations will never find out before it's too late. Until it's too late, until you see an active shooter incident on the news, until you see somebody on TikTok quitting their job, and then they go on the PA system cussing everybody out, until it's too late. Why do you think all this happens? It's the workplace, it's the environment, it's the leadership. APAs. This is not gonna be an easy task. I'm gonna let you know that for sure. It ain't gonna be an easy task, but it's gotta be done. It's gotta be done. We gotta prevent. That's the difference between us and the people that they say we try to be like. You know what I mean? And I'm not throwing no shade, but we witness a lot of things that happen inside of the workplace. We don't react to them. We observe. We document. You know what I mean? So use every resource that you can to make sure that you can be effective as you can. But we start with the workplace, and we about to run them internal numbers up. Anybody that's stealing, we getting them out of there. Okay, you creating a hostile work environment, we're gonna chat. But if you want people to come in and respect your store, respect the business, respect the brand, you got to start internally first, because that's going to be your word of mouth. Because the word of mouth is going to hit the streets that y'all not playing, y'all cleaning house, y'all setting the tone, y'all setting the bar high, and people going to follow that. Now y'all keep letting all this ride, people coming into the store, taking what they want, doing what they want, being verbally aggressive, more people gonna come because word of mouth gonna hit the street that they went in there and they got to do whatever they want to, and they feel like they Billy the badass, right? Then more people gonna think they can have their way when they go into that store. So people gonna keep following. So let's turn this whole narrative around. Just because they getting away from making apprehensions doesn't mean we lost the authority. Don't get the game twisted. We still standing on business. We still standing on business. And if the store don't care, why should we care? And y'all know I'm all about making an apprehension. But at this point, if it's gonna be more of a safety issue for people to make apprehensions, then fuck it. Let these people come into the store and they can take the store with them. But for the time being, we gonna start internally. We gonna make sure our people good. We treating each other right. Because there was a time where they treated the employees right. Walmart specifically. Remember back, man, remember back in the day when so for the first shift and the overnight shift, this is what they do. When you came in for your shift, they had donuts, they had fruit, they had all that for all the employees. Second shift didn't get nothing. So we always got the scraps. But that's what they used to do every Friday. Every Friday they did this. Now they don't even do it at all. That was just one way that they showed they appreciated the employees. Now the workplace done went to shit. You know what I mean? Like people wear what they want to wear now, looking crazy. looking like a zip damn fool. But anyway, that's what it is. So with that being said, thanks for tapping in, Eagle family. Want to give a shout out to the APAs out there. Happy hunting. It's your boy Eagle Eye Miller. Till next time, raw and unscripted.